Hi, I'm Frank Ritchie, and I authored 3 books basically about the Brooklyn Mafia, and they used to have catering jobs done by me. We had a restaurant called Via Appia, which means the Appian Way in Rome, and we had a full-service Italian restaurant and catering. We were probably the largest Italian caterers in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a borough of New York, as you well know. If Brooklyn had been a city, it would be the 3rd largest city in America. My book, Catering to the Mob, was my first publication. Catering to the Mob is not a real story about the mafia. It's a real story about the people that came to my restaurant or had parties catered. On the cover of my book, there's a photograph of Carlo Gambino, Paulie Castellano, and Joey Colombo. These were considered the head of the 5 families in New York. This book has 21 recipes from my restaurant, as I said before, was called the Via Appia. It's at the foot of the Verrazano Bridge that connects Brooklyn with Staten Island. I had the opportunity of catering to the mob when Joe Colombo Sr. called me. I believe it was in 1962, and he said to me, "Frankie, we'd like to have the restaurant in a private party setting at your restaurant. What dates are available?" My response was, "Whatever dates you need, I can accommodate you. And we'll put a sign on the door saying a private party. No big deal." So the party was scheduled for 7 o'clock at night. And about 6:45, Carlo Gambino and his wife came to the front door and greeted everybody. And then Joe Colombo came with his wife. Paulie Castellano did not come with his wife. He came with his bodyguard. And then there were 3 other well-known mafia figures that also came for dinner. I don't know their names. None of the people that I knew ever used their real names. They all had nicknames, or they all had names that, for some reason, connected to either the way they looked. They had a big nose or a big head or something like that. One guy, they used to call him Louis the Head. Another guy, they called him Frankie the Beast. He had real big hands. This is not an expose about the mafia. What it is about cooking. When you cook, it should be fun. I suggest you have a glass of wine in the kitchen when you cook. And I have not only the 21 recipes, my idea is how to cook a gourmet Italian meal in 30 minutes. Unlike my grandmother, who would wake up early Sunday morning and start cooking the sauce. Some people refer to it as the gravy. It would cook for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, and it bloop, 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 bloop. And then everybody would go in the kitchen, get a piece of bread and dip it in. Everybody becomes an expert on Italian food. When I did the party, this was a big deal. I mean, this was over the top. So what the menu was, we served what we call a fritto misto. A fritto misto in Italian means fried vegetables that are an assortment. So we would serve it in a lazy Susan on the table. In the middle there was shoestring zucchinis that were fried. And then there was what Neapolitans call panzerotti. Panzerotti means a potato croquette that's breaded and fried. They're light brown, they're delicious. And then we had the Sicilian rice ball as one of the items on this lazy Susan. And then we had fried asparagus and mushroom caps. That was the appetizer. We served white wine, bolo suave, with the appetizer, and then we served red wine with the main course. Now that was the first dish. We call it antipasto in Italian. The second course was Sicilian penne pasta with eggplant. In one of my videos, Catering to the Mob, the Sicilian penne pasta with eggplant is there, and I show you how to cook it. and how you can do it in a very short period of time, as long as you're organized and have everything ready. The key to cooking is that you have to have the right timing. You have to know when something goes in the oven, when it comes out of the oven. And today, with microwaves and fryers, like the one we have here in the house, air fryers really work, and they do a good job. Okay, so now, getting back to the dinner, the penny pasta was served. After the penny pasta, it's time for the main course. Italians normally eat the salad at the end of the meal. My grandmother used to say, it helps you digest. So what we did for the main course was scallopini, veal scallopini, marsala with portobello mushrooms, with marsala wine, very delicious. The veal had to be tender. That was one of the criteria. Anytime one of these people that I knew wanted to have me, one of the things they insisted that the veal had to be tender, and of course it was tender. After with the scallopini marsala, we served risole potatoes and tips of white asparagus fried. Really a nice meal, very delicious and diversified. At that point, we would serve a salad with arugula, red onions, and a nice crispy lettuce, very nice, well presented, with a series of Italian dressings that we made in-house. After the salad, we would clear the table, and then we would serve the super duper dessert called, in Sicilian, it's called it's really a ricotta cake. And we would serve that with espresso coffee and anisette or sambuca, basically the same thing. The Sicilian cake is called cassata. Cassata, that's how you pronounce it. And it's very delicious, very rich, and really a way to top off a gourmet dinner. Now, the point of my presentation is I have a book that's a fictionalized story about some, quote, mafia events that took place in Bath Beach, where I used to live. The other book is called Bath Beach, and this one's called Bath Beach Mafia Merchants of Death. What it talks about, in fact, is the laundering of money through the Vatican Bank in Rome. So, you can go on our website, www.realmafiastories.com. Or you can go on our other website and say, caterer, me, Frank Ritchie, caterer to the mob, and you can get orders for the book 1, book number 2, number 3, and book number 4 is going to be coming out soon. It's going to be how to cook a gourmet Italian meal in 30 minutes. That's in the works right now, and it should be ready for publication in about 3 weeks. And then you can find it on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble. All my books can be purchased from Barnes & Noble or Amazon. And in the future, you can buy it directly from us, and it will be autographed by me. It'll be autographed with your name on it, the date that it was signed. And we are hoping, I mean really hoping, that we can make a movie out of this. And if it makes a movie, we'll become famous. So thank you for your time. That's it. We okay time-wise?